Hello, welcome back to the channel. And as the title probably says, I don't know, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm still recording. I'm going to be telling you a story. While messing around with Max, since this is Max. Hey, no. Now, this story is going to be about how I met Max. And the picture for the thumbnail is the very first picture I got of Max. This was before I knew how to edit pictures, by the way. So, believe it or not, I originally hated dogs. I was terrified of them. Probably because most of the time when I would be hanging out with dogs, I would run and they'd chase me and I'd think they're trying to attack me. And that would scare me. Thus, I became more and more scared of dogs. And, well, yeah. I could only be around one dog. It was a small white dog, smaller than Max, believe it or not. Hey! Anyways, smaller than Max, and we would only go there at certain times. And that certain time was whenever the power went out. The power used to go out somewhat frequently back then. This is when I was like 6. 5 and 6. Look at a hole it. Oh my gosh, Max is digging a trench. This wasn't here yesterday. Yep, I dug that hole in one day. What do you think? It looks amazing. There's another hole we have to repair. But anyways, onward to how I met Max. So, I hated dogs. And when I came out to meet Sweet, I found a dog cage. In fact, that dog cage it's the very same cage you see over here. So yeah, it's the very same cage. I still have it. That's the same cage that Max still uses 3 years later. But when I came outside and I saw that, and my grandma told me, "You're gonna be getting a puppy." I hated that idea. Yeah, I did. And as we drove over there later on that day, we drove on down to like this massive field, like massive. I suppose it was a big farmland, but it was probably around the size of my grandma's field right now, possibly bigger. In fact, it was so massive you can barely see the trees on the other side of the field. And these were like tall trees too. But anyways, I don't know if that was a good comparison or not. But I was still in the car. I rolled my window down so I can hear the conversation that was going on. My grandma and this lady. Grandma walked up and said, "Hey, can I get the dog now?" And said, yeah. So she went inside for about 2 minutes and came out with the dog, Max. Hi. It came out with our Maxie boy here. So much smaller than he is now. He's extremely soft though, since he got a haircut. So he was much smaller than he was now. So I'm like, oh, okay. I can deal with this, I think. And he was so small. Like, the thumbnail for the video, I did not edit that picture in the slightest. There's only one thing I did. Only one thing. And that was add letters saying, meet Puppy Max. That was it. Because that was all I knew how to do at the time with editing. How long have I had this phone? 5 years? No, it's not 5 years. I've had this phone like a year before I got Max, I think. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask my parents. But they, the real thing that I hated about dogs was big dogs. Like really big dogs, because those were the most scary dogs to me. Massive dogs. Like Yogi size. My Aunt Carmen and Uncle Bill, they actually had another dog before they got Yogi. They had another dog. That dog's name was Tiger. It was in their old house, so they didn't have the pool until they got Yogi. So the house they got now, they got the pool, and then like a month or so later, a few months later, they got a dog. Oh, that was a horrible kick. Oh, I hit Max. You okay, buddy? You okay? I guess so. Continue on. So anyways. So that the dogs I was scared of was around Yogi's size. And Max, smaller than he was now, believe it or not. Hey Max, can you stay still for a moment? Please? No. So he was about the size of my foot. He was the size of my foot. That's how small he was. I can't get close to him since he wants to run away. And he was the size of my foot, and his height was the size of my shoe. Not these shoes. These. He was about the height of this shoe. So, he was very small. A very, very small dog. So he was a very small puppy. Not what I was expecting. I had him beside me the entire ride home. And I don't know if I still have the footage of me letting him out and running around. But the very first video I got of Max was just him running around. This hole. Max, why do you like to dig so many holes? Anyways. So, eventually, after I recorded that video, I realized, hey, Max isn't so bad. And he stayed at Grandma's house for a while. About a month or two. This was during the summer, by the way. So I had all the free time in the world. As of now, I'm going to school and I can only record at certain times after I get home. But it's the weekend, so I can record anytime I want to. So, after a while of Grandma and Grandpa having Max, Grandma said, hey, why don't you take him home? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know about taking him home. Said, oh, come on, it'll only be for a week. We'll have him back after that week. This is where she tricked us, because she sent me home with Max without consulting my parents. So Max stayed here for a week. 1 week became 2. 2 weeks became 3. 3 weeks became forever. And in that time, Max went through like 3 phases before we get to the one where he's like here. It's like when you're creating a character and you go through design choices. That's like what Max was doing. He had kind of like what he looks now, like more of a haircut, but still really small, and his face looked a little different when he was a little puppy. Then he got to the point where his hair was, no matter how many times we would cut his hair, it would grow back super fast, and he would just have so much hair you could barely see his eyes. Since Max was running around the house a lot, you couldn't really like catch him so you can see his eyes. And when you could, it was a really rare opportunity. Then Max had to where he looked more like an alien than a dog, in my opinion. In some of my photos, Max kind of looks like an alien than a dog. Hey! What is true? And then, I guess he had like 4 phases, not 3. But he had one where in most of my photos, he looked kind of like an alien. Like not something that looks like a dog. Well, I wouldn't say alien. He just didn't look like his normal self. And it was like that for close to a year. From then, we now have the phase he's at now. Which is where he looks like this. So, that's how I met Max, and, well, how he became who he is, and how he started living with me. And around this time, which was mostly like half of last year, he looked like an alien puppy. And the other half, he looked like how he does now. And around the time where he looks like he does now is when I started making videos. As of this moment, that was 4 months ago. But anyways, that'll be all this video. Hope you enjoyed of how I met Max. That'll be all from me and Max, who really just sat here. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. And goodbye.